Hello, hello. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the coffee break, the fresh air, invigorated for our wrap-up of the afternoon with our keynote speaker, Gianluca Famigli, women's football competition manager at FIFA. He's here to explain a bit about his work, what he's done at FIFA to help enhance and develop the women's competitions, and also how they've developed and created new ones for women's football. And he's also going to tell us a little bit about the journey of the onset of the Women's World Cup that will be happening later this year in Australia and New Zealand. So please, I would love to welcome you, Gianluca.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Today, I'm really honored to be here in front of you because you are the sport leaders of tomorrow. And before we start, I would like you to take a moment and have a look at the person at your left. For real, eh? For real. Now, have a look at the person on your right. Those are the people that might get you a job in the future. Or you might be the one offering them an opportunity. And the reason is that the sports industry is such a small world. In these years, I've been asked a lot of questions, but one recurring question was about how do I get a job, an opportunity? How can I find my dream job? And these questions are the same questions I was asking myself about 9 years ago when I was in your exact same position. And to me, these questions sound like there is a secret recipe or a magic formula that someone has discovered and not shared with us. So what do we need to find our dream job? Some people will tell you that in order to find your dream job, you need a combination of competencies and luck. But what else do we need to succeed in this research? And I think it depends on that question mark up there. That's what makes the difference. And that's why today I would like to talk about the 7 Ps that helped me get my dream job and that I hope will help you get your dream job in the future. As many of you, I'm sure, I started dreaming of working in the sports industry a long time ago, when I was in my early teen, more or less. And I got my first football knowledge from these tools. Some of you may relate with these kind of activities. Maybe you use some more recent versions, I hope, for you. Anyway, after all this hard preparatory work, I went on studying for real and graduating in architecture, which was a war teacher to me, and which gave me a broad perspective of the world and of different people. But my first love and heart, my passion, was into sports. And here comes the first P of the day. And I have a question for you. How many of you want to work in the sports industry because of your passion for sports? So please, raise your hand if you want to work in sports because you're passionate. So that's pretty much all of you, pretty much all of us. And passion was the reason why I wanted to work in sports as well. Passion was the reason why, in 2013, I enrolled in the FIFA Master, which was an enriching experience. As many of you know already, the FIFA Master is organized by the CIS, and I had the possibility to study and learn in 3 cities in Europe, together with a group of 28 other people with 28 different nationalities. And still nowadays, I feel I learned so much from each and every one of my classmates and my professors. Anyway, after that amazing experience, I was open to work, as we would say today, on LinkedIn. But that's when the first difficulties arose. I had no previous working experience in sport. I was not a former athlete, and I struggled to find a job. I thought my passion was my competitive advantage. But that's when I realized that passion was not enough. Passion is not enough because we are all passionate about sports. So this is when my FIFA Master mentor suggested me to channel my passion, to focus my enthusiasm into something more concrete, and to put my competencies into practice. Because if you put your passion into practice, it will be much more valuable. Sometimes there is the belief that the more you do, the better it is. But this reminds me of my architectural studies. There was one famous Dutch architect, Mies van der Rohe, that once said, "The less is more." And this means that we don't need to master any given subject. Rather, we need to value and market our expertise in the field we want to work in. So after a few months, after the completion of the FIFA Master, I started volunteering for the small volleyball club at my hometown, where I did a bit of everything, but I mainly focused on development, which I didn't even know what that was at the time, and promotional events, which was my main priority. And before we move on, I would like to give you an example. Let's think of the recruiting process as if we were organizing a basketball game in our backyard. Who would you pick for your team based on the little information you are given? Most likely, you would rely on those limited information. And it's difficult to understand the value of a person if it's not put into practice. Here, we only know that there are 2 people. One is a very tall guy, and the other one is a bit shorter. But once we realized the value of a person, then the situation changes dramatically. Now we know that the guy on the left is Chris Paul, one of the shortest players in NBA history, a 12 times NBA All-Star player, and a 2 times Olympic champion. The other guy, on the contrary, is Sultan Kosen, the tallest man on earth. So you see that once the value is put into practice, the situation and the choice becomes evident and easier. Going back where I left the story, in 2015, after 7 months of job hunting and with the help of the CIS and the FIFA Master Alumni Association, after hundreds of applications that were not even answered or considered, I finally got a traineeship at the Italian Football Association. The job I was dreaming of, and for sure, at that time, a big relief. I was selected for the Women's Football Development Department. And curiously enough, I was told I was selected due to the experience I gained at the volleyball club in development and promotion. So it turns out that what I put into practice at the volleyball club was a decisive factor to show my passion, my values, and my competencies. Those same competencies that we saw earlier on in the dream job formula. There, I worked on the first women's football development program released in Italy. I worked on the FIFA Goal Project and the FIFA Financial Assistance Program, which were two ancestors of the current FIFA Forward. And I worked on the UEFA Women's Champions League final held in Italy, the first one, at a time when 17,000 spectators were considered a record-breaking crowd for women's club football. And after that, I moved to the office of the Chief Executive Officer. And in my 4 years at the Italian Football Association, as in anything in life, there had been highs and lows. For example, the men's national team failed to qualify for the World Cup in Russia in 2018. The one in 22, we didn't go, but it was not my fault. So just to clarify, you never know. The women's national team qualified for the World Cup in France 2019 after missing out for 20 years. And speaking of highs and lows, here is a story for you. So imagine, it's the night of the launch of the new logo of the Italian Football Association, in occasion of the celebrations for the 120 years anniversary of the federation itself. We are in this exclusive location in the center of Rome, and the presidents, the senior executives of the top Italian football clubs are attending. Even the president of the Italian National Olympic Committee is attending. And in my role of executive assistant to the CEO, I'm already anticipating the unique opportunity that I got to expand my network and to get to know those personalities that you would normally see on TV only. But at one point, and I don't know why in these stories there is always a but at one point I receive a call. Gianluca, they say, we need you at the parking entrance. The parking staff do not know the people we invited to the event. So we need you there to recognize them and to let them in. Long story short, I spent my whole night at the parking entrance. Not the night I've dreamt for so many days. Not the dream job I've worked for and I've studied for so many days, for so many years. And there are so many other examples like this one, in which the task or the project we are assigned to are just a disillusion of our dreams. But sometimes it's not about the task or the project itself. It's about the attitude with which we approach that task. And it's about our participation. It's about being there when we are needed. And of course, it's about the way we contribute to that project. Also, it's about knowing our role when we are part of a team. And of course, being committed towards a bigger and common goal. And here comes again the passion. Because passion might not be the one thing that will get you a job. But passion is the one thing that will help you stay in a job that doesn't look like your dream job anymore. So, after almost 2 years working in women's football development and another year and a half working at the executive office, I moved to the women's football competitions, the club competitions department, where I worked on the launch of the renovated Women's League, the Serie A Femminile. But after almost 4 years at the Italian Football Association, I understood I wanted to change. I understood I wanted to work in a more international environment. And most importantly, I understood that my dream job was not my dream job anymore. So you see that we evolve, that our dreams evolve. We don't stand still, and our lives shape our desires in a different way from the one we initially thought of. And that's why we need here our fourth P of the day: perseverance. Never give up, despite all the negative things that might happen to you or might affect you. There will be one moment in life in which you will be tempted to get rid of your dreams. In that moment, life is testing how much you care about your dreams. So continue looking for your dream job, even if you are in your dream job already. And this reminds me what my CEO at the Italian Football Association repeated me all the time. The best of today is not enough to excel tomorrow. And that's why, along with perseverance, comes preparation. In my career in the sport industry, I never stopped learning. While at the Italian Football Association, I followed a management course, while at FIFA, a leadership one. I keep trying learning a new language. And every day, I try to learn something new from my colleagues at work. But when I started working at FIFA, I had to learn a bunch of new stuff in order to do my job, my dream job, properly. And dealing with women's football competitions matters is not like the women's world ranking or the women's international match calendar, is not straightforward. And as in any other things in life, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. And speaking of preparation, I'm now working on the preparation towards the FIFA Women's World Cup, which is taking place in Australia and New Zealand from the 20th of July to the 20th of August. And many people ask me, what do I do? What is my job? And I explain to them that I work on the product and the strategy of the competition. But nobody really understands what that means. So I brought a few examples. This is what my mom thinks. She thinks I am in the middle of the pitch, giving away prizes and medals, speaking with the players, and just being the most important person in the stadium. I guess the moms are the same everywhere in the world. And then there are my friends. They think I attend all the matches and I have free tickets I do not share with them. And this is not true. I have no free tickets, so afterwards, nobody asks for a ticket, please. And then there is my partner. For her, I'm just having fun 24/7 while she's at home working. But working on the FIFA Women's World Cup is not just about being in the middle of the pitch, in the stands, or at the FIFA Fan Festival. Again, it's about being prepared. And I've been involved in the tournament since its very beginning, in various aspects. I started with the bidding evaluation process when the candidate host countries submitted their bids. I continued with the placement of the tournament dates in the calendar, taking into account the women's competition landscape. The number of slots to be allocated to each confederation was also a big part of the process, as well as defining the match schedule or drawing the groups. At the moment, I'm dealing with the financial aspects of the tournament, like, for example, the prize money or the preparation money. This year, FIFA has tripled the overall financial contributions towards the FIFA Women's World Cup, allocating 152 million US dollars for the competition in comparison with the $50 million allocated in France in 2019. This year, for the first time in history, FIFA is making sure that each player participating in the FIFA Women's World Cup receives a defined amount of money depending on their performance of their teams on the pitch. In terms of preparation money, each country receives 960,000 US dollars to invest in the preparation of their teams and their players. And this amount is 2 times what the teams received in 2019. And that's why I was in charge of drafting the guidelines determining how the teams could use those funds. And this means that now I am in charge of making sure that the teams adhere to those guidelines. And I help them identifying which activities they can or cannot cover with preparation money. For example, they can organize training camps and friendly matches. They can purchase sports and technical equipment. They can deliver strength and conditioning programs. They can train their technical staff as well as employ new or additional sports specialists for the preparation of their teams. My department is also in charge of legacy, and we monitor the activities that the host countries and the host confederations implement on the ground, as well as the progress that takes place in women's football as a result of hosting the tournament. And our objective is to publish an impact report after the FIFA Women's World Cup this year, as well as 1 year 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years after the tournament. We at FIFA want this to be a massive event, the biggest FIFA Women's World Cup ever. And I know that we hear this many times, but this one will be a once-in-a-lifetime tournament, or as we like to call it, a tournament of firsts. The first FIFA Women's World Cup held in the Southern Hemisphere, not only across 2 host countries, but also across 2 host confederations. 64 matches played in 9 host cities and 10 stadiums. 64 matches played by 32 teams, of which 8 debutants, of which 3 qualified through the first playoff tournament ever organized at both men's and women's football level. We expect more than 2 billion people following the tournament on the various media platforms. And we expect 1.5 million people attending the matches at the stadiums. And with 48 days to go, well, actually it's 47 with the time zone in Sydney. With 47 days to go, we have almost reached the 1 million mark of tickets, of number of tickets sold. This is all great, but after this, what will the future bring to me? What will the future bring to you? We need to be patient, because things do not happen overnight. Rome was not built in one day. So let's not rush through things for the sake of doing, because the right things will happen at the right time. And I remember back in the days when I could not find a job in the sports industry, I thought that my degree in architecture was slowing me down. But today, I like to think that my architectural mindset is an added value and plays a major role in when it comes to create and design new competitions. Usually, we tend to compare ourselves based on performance, like comparing roles, comparing jobs, comparing salaries, comparing promotions. But the P of performance is not part of my presentation today. Rather, I would like to focus on growth. And we need to be kind to ourselves, because each and every one of us grows in a different way, and we need to respect it. Because being successful is not about doing what other people dream of. Being successful is about doing what we dream of, and being aware that might change in the future. And as we approach the end of my presentation, please allow me to do one step back and remind you that passion is not all the shimmer, sparkle, and shine that we tend to focus on. And that's why competencies and luck are not enough to get your dream job. To wrap up, the 7 Ps that will help you get your dream job are passion, practice, participation, perseverance, preparation, patience. And before we conclude, have another look at the person on your left. Have a look at the one on your right. Those might be the people giving you your dream job in the future. The sports industry is such a small world. So don't be afraid to reach out and start building your network today. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Joao, for having me here.